So diversity is good, but tokenization is bad. Miles Morales was a great game from a black perspective.
The exaggerated swagger of a black teen.
But Spider-Man 2 just had Miles doing a whole lot of bullshit that didn't really mean anything to anyone. The Miles Morales game was a great example of diversity and representation. It's a slice of life game and it has a great vibe. You're exploring Miles' place in his community, what his friends are like, his neighborhood, his lifestyle, and it only worked because Insomniac hired an authentically diverse crew of people who had lived the kind of lifestyle that they wanted to emulate in the game through Miles. But the problem is that most of the people that worked on the Miles game got laid off after the game dropped. They didn't get carried over to work on Spider-Man 2. So when Spider-Man 2 came out, all that authenticity from the Miles game was missing. Case in point, Miles had the Cuban flag instead of the Puerto Rican one hanging up in his apartment. And keep in mind, one of Miles' suits in the game literally is the Puerto Rican flag. So Miles Morales is filled with all this authenticity, and then Spider-Man 2 has none of it. Miles hangs out with Peter, he gets ignored by Peter, he has all these school missions, and then he goes on missions where he learns about black history through stolen museum exhibits. The game stops being about Miles helping out his neighborhood bodega, and it turns into Miles awkwardly explaining the history of some old trumpet after getting it back from a bunch of art thieves. The game stops being about Miles living his own life, and it ends up with Miles being used as a tool to learn about someone else's. In his own game, Miles has a childhood friend that goes down a path that turns them into a criminal on the run from the law, and that puts the lives of Miles and everyone he loves in danger. It's not exactly Boys in the Hood, but that's the idea, but on a level that kids can understand. I think Ironheart kind of had the same vibe. Good girl finds some bad influences and gets wrapped up in the world of crime. So Miles Morales has this big story with a lot of stuff for Miles to do, but then in Spider-Man 2, Miles gets left unread by Peter and he has to write an essay. One of these things is not like the other. The Miles game was way more authentic, but Spider-Man 2 doesn't feel authentic at all. It feels like Uncanny Valley whitewashed diversity offsetting. So when DEI is used right, in an authentic manner, we get unique experiences like the first Miles game, or projects like Echo and Prey. But then at its worst, DEI is just performative activism that doesn't really mean anything and doesn't really do anything. None of this weird awkward filler serves the plot of the game at all. It just distracts from it. It's not like Kraven and Venom are trying to destroy the environment in the game. That's not the point of why this is here. They just have to find a way to plug all these buzzwords into the script, that way it'll raise their ESG score and they can get more investment money. They don't actually have to do anything, and it doesn't even have to mean anything. All they have to do is talk about it. These missions pretty much only exist so that they can check off checks on a checklist for BlackRock's AI stock picking algorithm. Remember how the #1 complaint for the first Spider-Man game was the MJ missions and all the hacking mini games that were so bad that they literally gave you an option to skip them? Well, those are what every single one of the ESG side missions feel like. They don't complement the other layers of the Spider-Man 2 experience. None of these missions have anything to do with Kraven, or Venom, or Peter, or Miles. Just think about all the stuff that got cut. All the symbiotes, the scrap DLC. Think about how they had to rush development on this thing to get the game out the door in time for the holiday season. And then I want you to realize the B missions, the Haley level, those were the things that didn't get cut.